Welcome to our motivational interviewing workshop. There are a couple of things we have to talk about before considering the techniques of motivational interviewing. Firstly, we'll go over some listening skills. For MI, it is important to check for meaning. The skills we use for this are paraphrasing, reflecting content, and asking for a summary. Can someone give some examples of these phrases? Yes, Joan.
Let's see. When you said you felt sick, did you mean you feel nauseous? I think what you're saying is that you think antibiotics would help you, is that right? What I heard was you were angry about the doctor not listening to you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Great, thanks for that, Joan. Next, we need to talk about emotion. Research suggests that patients are more likely to make behavioural changes when emotions are involved. Emotional topics managed well build trust between patient and GP.
I don't know, Aaron. I reckon too much emotion can make things difficult.
That's right, Bob. Decision-making is impaired when people are highly emotional. Likelihood of misunderstanding is high. When flooded with emotion, patients can often struggle to even coherently express themselves.
So with emotion, it's a case of a little bit is okay, but a lot is not so good.
That's right, Nancy. So to elicit some emotions, we ask about the feeling. What were you feeling when that happened? What are you feeling now when you're talking about it? We can recreate the emotion when we ask the patient to recreate and visualise the situation. But to contain emotion, we can reflect and clarify. Can anyone think of an example of this strategy, Alex?
Okay, so when the doctor told you off about your weight, that made you really angry.
Yep, that's right. Look for the "that's it" moment. So when the doctor goes on about your weight, it makes you feel like he thinks you are useless and stupid. And the patient says, "Yes, that's right. How dare they treat me like I'm stupid?" Strategies for difficult emotions. Centre yourself. Breathing, focus, relax. Remember that even when emotions are directed at you, they're often not about you. Listen to the issue. Ask questions to clarify and show you're interested. Apologise if necessary, but avoid justification. Do not try and problem solve while emotion is high. Write it out. Next, we will look at ambivalence. Ambivalence is about the person believing two things at once. Lack of motivation is actually often ambivalence. Both sides are within the person. If you argue for one side, an ambivalent person is likely to defend the other. As a person defends the status quo, the likelihood of change decreases. The counsellor needs to try and resist the urge to take up the good side of ambivalence.
Oh, so the more I tell someone what's good for them, the worse I can make things.
That's right. In an ambivalent patient, Joan, some people are happy to be told what's good for them. But even in an ambivalent person, telling them why they should change just makes them tell you why they shouldn't. So the spirit of motivational interviewing is collaboration, evocation, and respect. Collaboration is developing a partnership and working together on the problem. Evocation is about inspiring. It's the process of drawing forth or eliciting motivation. It is listening rather than telling, as persuasion is not effective at resolving ambivalence. The clinician must respect the autonomy, responsibility, and resourcefulness of the patient to determine their own path. So, motivational interviewing is a method of communication that invites the patient to make arguments for change. Listen for the change talk and increase the amount of time spent on these ideas. Find the ideas focusing on desire, I want, I would prefer, I wish. Look for statements that indicate ability. I could, it's possible, I can do that. Ask about reasons for change. Why would they do it? What would be good about it? Listen for words that indicate need to change. It's really important I have to do this. It matters. Sustained talk is the bits of conversation where the client explains why they can't change or won't. The greater the percentage of sustained talk, the less likely is change. Remember, if the doctor argues for change, they will increase the patient's sustained talk and therefore reduce the chances of the patient making changes.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get that now. Wow, that's going to mean a bit of a change in one of my habits.
Absolutely, Alex. So commitment talk is what this is all about. Commitment talk predicts actual change. The stronger the statements of commitment, the greater the likelihood of change. When you hear change talk, don't just sit there. Draw on your skills, reflect it, Ask for examples and elaboration. Affirm the change talk. Summarise it to collect it all together. When you encounter resistance, remember, resistance is just the other side of ambivalence. Don't argue against it. Pushing against resistance entrenches it. Roll with resistance. Use reflection techniques and emphasise the person's choice and autonomy. The flow of change talk increases commitment. When patients use change talk, it signals a behaviour change in them. So the more they engage in change talk, the more likely they are to change. Encourage even low-strength commitment language. I'll think about it. I'll try. Enhance high-strength commitment language. I will, I promise. Consider, is the obstacle one of importance or confidence? Certain language signals desire, but low confidence. I'll try. I wish I could. I would if I could. At the end of the interview, give a summary. Draw together the person's change talk. Briefly acknowledge areas of reluctance. Summarise the person's commitment strength. And if the commitment is strong, you may choose to elicit or negotiate a change plan.
But what if after all that the patient still won't change?
That's okay. Change is difficult. All we have to do is to open up the dialogue about change and allow the patient to make their own choices. So in summary, motivational interviewing is about increasing change and commitment talk and not feeding sustained talk. For motivational interviewing, you will need to use all your good communication skills, including listening, reflection, and summarising, allowing the patient to empower themselves to change.
Oh, thanks, Aaron. That was great.